You're listening to the 10-minute podcast challenge that'll prove every place is the same. Welcome your host, the irreverent, the cosmopolitan, the wicked, Daniela Vlaskalic.
Hello, and welcome to Every Place Is The Same. I am excited to welcome my guest, radio and television personality and fellow podcaster of Eat and Drink, Ali Hassan. Welcome, Ali.
Well, thank you. Welcome to me as well. No, is that the right? Anyway, you've thrown me off with your energy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Eat and drink. If you want to know more about it, if you're a person that eats and drinks, check the show notes.
Yeah.
Ali, you grew up in Montreal, Canada. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell me about that.
It was lovely. It was at one point the biggest city in Canada, but it never felt like it. It was great to get English and French exposure as a young man, and then coming from another ethnicity, in a Pakistani home. I felt like it was a very well-rounded upbringing.
2 languages.
English and French, and then at home, a little bit of Urdu and Punjabi.
Now, you've also spent time in Lahore, Pakistan. Is that right?
That is right.
Tell me about that.
It's just where my family is from, and so we would go and visit from time to time.
Now, would you say that Montreal, Canada, and Lahore, Pakistan are the same?
I would not say that, and I don't think any sane person would actually say that.
Well, today, on Every Place Is The Same,
Right.
we are going to prove that Montreal, Canada, and Lahore, Pakistan are the same.
I was afraid of that. Okay, let's see what happens.
You talked about languages. Tell me about languages in Lahore.
Urdu is the national language, and then many people, their mother tongue will be Punjabi. It's in the province of Punjab, so it's in the Punjab region. So many people will speak Punjabi if they're from Lahore. Some of them, their parents and grandparents spoke it. Younger generations are maybe speaking a little bit less. But it's typically at least 2 languages people will speak there.
2 languages,
Yes.
like Montreal.
Oh my God, backed myself into a corner there. Yes, 2 languages, like Montreal.
English and French, to be precise.
That's right.
Prohibition. Montreal.
Well, yeah, for a very short period of time, whereas in Pakistan, it is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, so it's effectively constantly in a state of prohibition.
Although if you're a tourist, you can get a drink there.
Yes, in a hotel you could get a drink in Lahore, for example, or you can there's an underground market. Yep.
Underground.
Yeah.
Much like the underground market that was happening in Montreal during Prohibition.
Again, for a very short period of time, but if you want to be a very difficult person at this point, you could say that those are similar time, like always in Pakistan and a short period in Montreal. Yes, those were similar times.
But what's interesting, Ali, is that during Prohibition, there were a lot of Americans that were coming up to Montreal seeking out alcohol. Now, would you say there are a lot of Americans coming to Lahore looking for alcohol?
We'd have to define a lot, but people from all over the world come there for business. Yeah. There's a lot of business that does happen in Pakistan, and yes, you would find some Americans coming there.
But Lahore is beautiful, wouldn't you say?
There is, of course, there's beauty in Pakistan. More of it outside of Lahore, but Lahore is a fairly polluted city. From what I understand, it's been cleaned up a fair amount in the last decade since I've been there, because I had some issues with the, not just the pollution in the air, but on the ground as well.
Shalimar Garden, UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Right.
Beautiful?
I haven't been. I have been to the different gardens. Close to the Lahore Fort, there was the something else gardens, slipping my mind what the name is, but this was part of the issue, that there was these beautiful gardens, allegedly, and we got there and people had littered on each side of so maybe they've changed the name to the Shalimar Gardens, and now it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and now people are taking care of it. But they weren't 16 years ago, I'll tell you that much.
Litter in Montreal?
Yeah, that can also be, yes. That can also be found. There is litter in Montreal.
Beautiful places, then people abuse them with litter.
That is true. That is true.
Mount Royal.
Yes.
Mount Royal.
Yes.
The cross.
Yes.
A symbol of Montreal.
Yeah, I would say so. That cross sitting atop the highest elevation in Montreal is a symbol for the city. Sure.
The Minar-e-Pakistan. A symbol of Pakistan.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure. Although there are hundreds of minars in Pakistan because the minaret sits on many different mosques. But I think the Minar-e-Pakistan would be a symbol of the city, sure.
Two things that define two cities.
Yes, those are definitely things in cities.
Ali, have you ever seen a UFO?
No.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe it was a UFO and I was like, nice star. Didn't have my glasses on. Could have been a situation like that.
Well, have you ever heard of the Place Bonaventure incident?
Not the incident, but very familiar with the Place Bonaventure. One time I was getting on a bus at Place Bonaventure, tripped as I was getting on the bus and skidded onto my knee. Is that the incident you're referring to, or was there something bigger?
Well, there was a 3-hour UFO sighting.
Come on, 3
there.
hour. Okay. Interesting.
Also, during 2016 and 2017, there have been several UFO sightings over Lahore, Pakistan.
How do you like that? That's interesting.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's even fast. I will even go as far as to agree with your statement that it's fascinating.
I mean, not a lot of places claim to have had UFO sighting.
I mean, probably like 100 cities in the U.S., but...
outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, no, you don't hear about that so often.
Expo 67.
Familiar.
Tell our international listeners about that.
The Expo is the World Exposition, basically, and it's a celebration of art and culture and life and a celebration of a city.
And it was in Montreal.
It was in Montreal, Expo 67, yeah.
Now, they also opened for the Expo 67 a Playboy Bunny Club in Montreal.
Right. Probably not a Pakistani Playboy Bunny Club, but I'm sure they did.
Well, Tamina, who was born in Lahore, is the first Pakistan female Playboy Bunny.
Come on!
I am very serious.
I have to look that up. That's a source of pride I didn't even know I should have. That's very progressive. I did not know that. Or is it? Is being a bunny progressive? Anyway, not important. To your point, great.
Bazaar, market. What's the difference?
They are the same thing, effectively. A bazaar is a market. A bazaar or a souk or a market. These are all the most similar things.
Have you been to any markets or bazaars?
I have.
Tell me about that.
Well, there's the Marché Jean Talon, the Marché Atwater. Those are two in Montreal. And then there's a number of markets or bazaars, as you say, in Pakistan. That feels like more than a shopping mall, you would find bazaars.
What kind of things would you find in a bazaar?
A lot of clothing and jewelry. A lot of there's also food. Sometimes you have like these food bazaars only, and it's just, you want fried fish, you go only to that guy. You want kebabs, that's the person. You want this, you go that, that kind of thing. Very specialized food or very specialized clothing.
Now, some would say you could find very specialized food in Montreal.
You could.
What are some of those items?
Like bagels, for example. It's a fairly unique recipe to Montreal. Montreal bagels. Montreal smoked meat is, they're known for that. Shawarma in Montreal, which we call shish taouk for some reason, which doesn't make any sense, is uniquely amazing in Montreal.
Poutine? Poutine,
of course, yes. Yeah.
And what are some delicacies we might find in a bazaar or market in Lahore?
You might find katakat. Those are testicles of some kind. That's a thing.
Would it be on a stick?
It might be. It might be. Usually it's chopped up and you eat it, and it tastes like nothing like a testicle you think would taste.
Takes balls to eat them, I bet.
It may. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes your father just feeds you and says, have this. And next thing you know, you got a mouthful of balls. Anyway, you're also various biryanis and different curries and karahis and, great stuff.
Can you expand your mind in both Montreal and Lahore?
Sure. Drugs are available in both those cities.
Concordia?
University? Yes. It is a thing.
A place to expand your mind?
Oh, sure. It's a university. It's a place of learning. That's one way to expand your mind. Sure.
Many places in Lahore to expand your mind.
Yeah, sure. Colleges, universities.
U of Lahore?
U of Lahore? U of L, as they call it. Let's go Screaming Eagles. University of Lahore Screaming Eagles. I don't think that's a thing.
Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal.
It's a place where we've gone too many times because it's there's two places. There's the church, the cathedral, and there's the basilica. Every time we have visitors from out of town, these are our destinations. So it's someplace we would always go to take people who are visiting Montreal.
Badshahi Mosque.
Badshahi Mosque, yeah. Also a place that I went as a visitor in Lahore when I was being toured around the city.
So very famous tourist destinations. Probably some people felt, do we have to go to the Badshahi Mosque again?
I imagine there are kids saying exactly those words to their parents.
Ali, we're walking through Montreal, Canada. Where are you taking me?
I'm a food guy, so I'm probably going to take you to eat stuff. I'm probably going to take you to some of these great restaurants. There's a place called Park, which is Antonio Park's restaurant. We'll go have some sushi there, mainly because I haven't eaten there yet. So you and I will go and experience the great food together. Probably go to Old Montreal, some great restaurants in Old Montreal. We'll have some great cocktails. There's some people who take their cocktailing very, very seriously. And we'll probably go see some sights, maybe the Montreal Museum of Modern Art. Maybe we'll go to MoMA,
Lahore, Pakistan. Where are you taking me?
Well, yeah, I would take you to the Lahore Fort. I would take you to the tomb of Ranjit Singh, Badshahi Mosque, and then we'd eat, and we just continue eating. We do a lot of eating.
So we could do a lot of eating in both places.
That's fair. Not as many cocktails to be had in Lahore, but yes, we do a lot of eating.
Could you find me a cocktail in Lahore?
I could find you a cocktail. I would probably have to sit under a table in hiding, and you would have to actually hand it to me under the table. But yes, we could drink together.
It would feel like Prohibition days.
It would feel like Prohibition days. Solid callback, yes.
If you love languages and want to bask in many different kinds, if you are fascinated by UFO sightings and want to look up, if you're really interested in beautiful, wonderful symbols and places of worship, or you're just looking for a really great market and a really great bazaar, I think that Ali has helped us prove that Montreal, Canada and Lahore, Pakistan are in fact the same.
And some of it was twisting my words against me and stretching some of the truth, but I see what you're saying. I see where you're going with this. Thank you, Danielle. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You just listened to Every Place Is The Same, hosted by Daniela Vlaskalic and directed by Marco Timpano. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram or join our Patreon page. Until the next time, enjoy your travels.